But did that ultimately help them get the job? I would say in this day and age, no. If I sat down and interviewed you, how cutthroat this business is, I would say, hey, how can you help the bottom line? What's your vision to help athletes? Yo, fam, you don't get that very often. Out in Gilbert, actually I'm on the Chandler side right now, out for my 4-mile loop. Haven't been by myself in a while. I wanted this episode to be about the question that came up several times since I did the episode with Cooper Marsh, how I became a sports agent or how I got into it. And so I'm gonna come and tell my story. So I played baseball, signed out of high school in 2007. Sorry, that's wrong. I was drafted in 2001 and I played until 2007 in Tampa Bay's organization. And the writing was on the wall after multiple elbow surgeries. You know, I was in the training room most of my career, so it's time to move on, and pursued, you know, the fire. After I retired, went back to school, tested 08, 9, 10. The economy crashed, so no one was hiring, and had to get a big boy job. And so, you know, I was talking to my former agent at the time, and he's like, why don't you come work for me and head up our amateur draft? And I thought about it for a while, and you know, it's like, what's it gonna take? He's like, I want you to go and get 3 sales jobs and show success. And so 3 years later, I'd worked as small business specialist. I worked at Bank of America, sold copiers. Shit, talk about eating humble pie. If you can sell a copier, you can sell anything. And then I did document management. So 2010, I became a limited certified baseball agent and worked my way up to become a general certified agent. So it's been 13, 14 years now. But in that time frame, I reported to Phil Mickelson's agent, who is the owner and founder of our agency. And so I worked alongside a lot of golf agents. And if you know anything about golfers, basically everything you see on them is an endorsement. And I was like, traditional sports did not like this. And I just started CrossFit. My client, Tuffy Goswich, was taking his level 1 cert from Dave Lipson. And Dave came up to him and said, hey, you know, what do agents do for you? My girlfriend, Camille LeBlanc, is getting courted by this company, Reebok. And was just curious. So, long story short, I saw a vision. And Camille became my first client in CrossFit. And that vision was to take a non-traditional sport with a lot of potential, and look at CrossFit now, and make it until these athletes could compete, and basically their job is to train all day. And how that was going to be provided was sales dollars, marketing, all through social media platforms. So in 2011, Twitter started becoming big. Facebook was still capped at 5,000 friends. And then they started the athletes page where it was uncapped. And then 2014, Instagram came about. And that's really where the vision kind of was executed for me. So that's where Lab Management was born in 2013, where I wanted to provide a platform for these athletes that consisted of their own brand within partnerships, but something that would last essentially a lifetime after they're done competing or playing on that competition floor. Because when I was an athlete, let's use Nike as an example. Signed by Nike. When I was done, Nike was done with me. And so there's so much potential and autonomy for an athlete these days to create their own brand and effectively have a business for themselves once they're done, like I said, playing or competing. And so that's how Lab differentiates themselves from any other agency, in my opinion, is because it's not just about an endorsement or a sponsorship. You know, it's about a lifetime legacy and brand of that athlete. So that's how I got, you know, into sports management, starting as a baseball agent, but seeing a vision bigger and better for all sports. And as you guys saw the episode with Cooper, he was my first little peasant. No, you guys know Coop, he's the man. But although he is my fifth child, you know, he helped me carry on that vision. I brought him in 2000, I can't remember, 17 or 18. And, you know, just excited where Lab's going and what he's helped do with it. And now that we're with Daniel and Matt O'Keefe and Zach, you know, sky's the limit. And can't be more thankful and grateful for our athletes and all the partners we work with. It's just, like he said, we cracked the code and truly have the best job. And that's, like I said, something I never saw myself doing. You know, when I retired, I was like, that's just glorified babysitting. But I want to be an agent. But there's a rush and an adrenaline that you get when you get to kind of fulfill an athlete's dream and be a part of that journey. So I know a question will come up, you know, what's your advice to get into it? I'll tell you, my story is completely different in the route that I took to get involved. And here's why. It was an easy decision for me, was because I already had a network in baseball. I knew the game. I knew people I could go to get help. And that potentially comes back to who you know. And I'm not a lawyer, never wanted to be a lawyer. If I had to be, I would have never gotten to this line of work. So let me just tell you, a lot of people are going to go to law school to be a sports agent. I would advise you to talk to, you know, a sports agent that is a lawyer. And if that's essentially needed or specified degree, obviously there's sports management degrees, but did that ultimately help them get the job? I would say in this day and age, no. I would say if I sat down and interviewed you that how cutthroat this business is, I would say, hey, how can you help the bottom line? What's your vision to help athletes? That would be my 2-question interview. And potentially, I gotta say, it comes down to who do you know? I'm gonna add a clip that I made probably a couple years ago about 5 ways to have a successful business, and networking will be in there. But I gotta tell you, when I say who you know, I mean relationships. Like, how good of relationships do you have with people? And how strong are those relationships in terms of trust to potentially give you a career that you dream of? So that's my answer to that, if you're thinking it. Anyhow, live that Saint life. Signing off.
You want to build a business. Here's 5 things I believe you need to do in order to have that business have long-term success. Number 1, you need money to start a business, right? You can self-fund it, you can get a loan, or you can get an investor. Number 2, amazing product or service. Number 3, one of my favorites, networking. Get out there, meet people, go to events, go places, have FaceTime. It's one of the best things you can do to build a business. Number 4 is relationships.
The key to this business is personal relationships. Unless you love everybody, you can't sell anybody.
And number 5 is patience. This day and age, a lot of people out there that want instant gratification, but in order to have a successful business for long-term success, you truly got to have patience.